Hey everybody, Scout Crafty here again. Mishmash Monday. Hope you had a fantastic weekend. A little bit warm here in the Northeast. It's a hot day, and I'm looking forward to sitting up in the air conditioning a little while. But I want to get a few things done today. First off, I just wanted to touch on we play a game here. If you're new to the channel, called "Where's Waldo" or "Where's Snoopy." So keep an eye out for this guy. If you should see him now and then pop up, just keep note, because it's gonna get harder and harder to find. Today I wanted to talk about the tool meet. We went to the Long Island Tool Collectors Association meet in Long Island, and it was just fantastic. All the guys were there. We had such a good time. I shot a little bit of footage of the show. Check it out. You can see here we're just setting up early, and this is well before the 6 o'clock starting time of the show. Everybody wants to say their hellos, but see what goods are put out quick. Now, this is Roger's table. Roger and his brother Mike come, and they always have some of the best tools that you'll find. And I always have to, there's Roger there on the right, and his brother Mike on the left. And we always look for them because you know you're going to find something good at their table. Now, as you can see here, look at some nice Daisy 25s. I wonder who bought them. Look, this is a 50-cent table. Everything on this table, 50 cents. Do you see anything you would have bought? And here's my buddy Ramel taking advice from the master himself, Dan Semmel. And you can see here we're checking out the new load of tools that just came in a couple minutes before. Now, this is right about the time when the show starts, about 6 o'clock, and you can see that everything's in full force, everybody, and there's been a lot of purchases already made. Now, as you know, I stopped buying tools, and I was good. I swear I was good. I was doing so well, and then all of a sudden, it's the damn dollar tables. They had the dollar tables and the 50-cent tables, and just when you're on the wagon and you're doing good, and you say, I'm not going to buy, you can't pass them by. And so I picked up a bunch of stuff from the dollar and 50-cent tables. So I don't know. I'm off the wagon again, but I'm back on the wagon now. So let's check out what I got. Do a few restorations. We're going to knock a few out. Wednesday, we're going to have a show and tell of some other things. But today, just let's have some fun and work on some of the projects I got. Let me show you. Okay, here we have a lot of what I got, most of it. But you can see here, we are at almost 24 pounds worth of tools that I got. And most of this came off the dollar table and 50-cent table. Let's check it out. Everything you see here came from the dollar table or 50-cent table. Some of the things I bought just for projects because I know you like to see, like this one here. This is such a beautiful pair of pliers. That look at the embellishment on the handles. Obviously, it's seen better days, and we're going to soak this in Evaporust, but isn't that just, I know it's kind of almost frozen, but it's a little difficult because it has a non-removable rivet, so it's hard to get in, but a nice project, right? This is another thing I think you'd enjoy seeing is this circle cutter and how it works, especially, you know, if we could do these up. I see these NOS all the time, but I just wanted to, but you know, nice soldering irons. Look at those beauties. Look at this double bend crowbar. You know, if you're a big crowbar fan, look at that. It's got like a double bend to it. You know, you don't usually see them like that. Usually they're straight. That's a nice find. My buddy Brian pointed these out to me. Look at these stamped, but they're unusual. I never tried these before. We'll try these out. They're like a spade bit, but they're different. They felt sharp. But look at this. How can you pass by this vise for $1? You just can't do it. You just can't do it. So there are some cool things here. Cat's paw, you know that. And, Richie, Roger and Mike's table. Roger came up with, look at this. Look at that, right? Beautiful chisel. Look at this. Proto. Everybody loves Proto, right? So how could you not? You'd be buying these all day today. I know that. I bought this because it was a something my grandmother had in a drawer years ago. It's a little like a socket driver, complete. But we got a couple things we're going to work on today just to have some fun. And what fun you could have with $1. But let me show you the things I bought that were a little bit more than $1. Okay, these were different items that I bought. Got this from Kent. Look at this. This, you know what this is, right? This is an oil filter wrench, but it's got spring steel on it. And you could see how this would work. Obviously, it's only meant for loosening up. You wouldn't use this to tighten one up on. But you see how that works, how the spring, I don't know if it'll work. How does this not slip? I just thought it was so interesting how to get it. Want to try that out. Another one from Roger and Mike. Look at this. I believe it's an S-Wing engineer's hammer with the leather grip. Super tight. They just need to be finished. I know you like to see those kind of restorations on the channel. Here's something that I don't have in my collection, but it's a grip awl. See that? By Kreuter. And just a nice, look at the embellishments on those handles. It's almost like a gas plier. Needs a little bit of tightening, a little bit of service work, but most of the original finishes on there. Beautiful pair of pliers. Nice set of gear. We're going to be doing some more electric motors, and I do have to pull some bearings, and you need a good bearing puller. And this one here, you can see is from New Britain. Just a nice one. And then a couple, look, nice pebble plum. These things, the selector switches always get screwed up with here, but I know you like a good before and after, and this will make a perfect before and after. And then, of course, the S60 Williams, these are always nice. You know how this works here. You just push this through. This was to loosen it, and then to tighten it, you just push this through like that, and now it tightens. These things were bulletproof. Still work good today. This would be a nice, customization job. Okay, for today, let's start off with these. I want to see how these work. They're such an interesting... Let me clean them up and show them to you real quick. Clean them up. Okay, here we are. 5 minutes on the wire wheel. They're all nice and cleaned up, and then I wiped them down with some WD-40 just as a good cleaner. Now, what makes these spade bits a little bit different than the ones that you typically see, typically a spade bit looks something like this. It's a flat spade bit and has a little bit of a chamfer here, a little bit of an angle that cuts around. This one here you can see is a little more aggressive. It's probably better for softer woods, but we'll try it out. You can see it's a heavy-duty bit. It's made by Chicago Latrobe. Chicago Latrobe was a company started in the 1900s, but was taken over by the Greenfield Tap and Kenmental, all the American companies that were basically, they kind of merged all the ones that do the high-end drills and mills and things like that and cutting tools. So let's try these out and see how they work. I'm very fascinated by this geometry. I just want to see how they perform. Okay, here we are at the drill press. I picked a piece of pine, scrap pine. These has a high tear out rate, so we'll really see how this performs. We have a backer board there, and we're just going to drill this. I really would like to operate this at a quicker RPM, but my drill press is pretty much stuck at this one, so let's see how this works. Now there you see, I had this stopped so that the drill stop comes down here. Now if you want to get a clean hole all the way through, you would flip it around like this and run this right through the same hole here, going the opposite way. Let's see what we got. Okay, here's the hole we just made. You can see that's absolutely acceptable. Beautiful hole there. You could go in there with some sandpaper or something to clean up, but that is pine, a lot of tear out, yet it did a nice job. I knew these bits would perform well just by the geometry of the tips. Absolutely gorgeous. Now let's make a little stand for anytime you get some nice bits, you don't want to throw these in a box where they're going to get dulled just by banging against each other. It's always nice to make a quick stand. Don't have, you know, we're not doing anything fancy, but you want to get a drill bit for each size. We have 2 drill bits here that for the shank sizes. And then we're going to take a piece of this. I found this plastic PVC. We're just going to make a quick one. We're going to cut about this long and space off 6 equal holes. Okay, we cut off a small block, laid out some lines where we want to put the drill spades, and we'll drill them out. Again, your most useful tool on the drill press is the drill stop, because we want to go down about 1/4 inch from the bottom. We lock it down, so now we don't have to worry about drilling too deep or pecking into your base here. So we're locked in, and let's drill it out. Okay, even though this is a quick and easy spade bit holder, you don't miss out on the details like chamfering the edges, and also run your little hand countersink in here and just chamfer the holes a little bit so the bits go in easy. Here we go, our dollar set of spade bits. Now they won't knock into each other. They're always available, and you should try that with a lot of your bits. Okay, next up, I saw this punch. I'm a punch guy, and I have a bunch that we're going to do, but I just wanted to clean this up because Kent and I were looking at this and thinking, maybe it's a Starrett? I don't know. It's just so nicely made. Let me clean up real quick and show it. Here we have our post-wire brush evaluation. You can see the top has little dings in it, and that edge is a little bit rolled over. And in the front here, we got a little dings or something. Let's make this one nice. I love this style punch, so let's make it real nice. And we're calling this one done. Look how nice this came out, huh? We got rid of all those nicks and burrs and put a nice finish on here. The point is beautiful. Look at that back now, huh? You see the reflectivity of that back, but it's only because I took out all the burrs and whatever. The knurling is just beautiful, nice and sharp. I don't know if this was ever used other than, you know, the little dings here, but this is such a great punch, such a great style punch. Just love it. Next up, I'm treading on my buddy Rich, Snap Ring Chronicles. You know, his area of expertise. But check this out. Again, another one that Brian showed me. Look at this beautiful Stanley Workmaster. See that? Ratchet. But look what's so different about this. You can see it's a push button. We all like the unusual ones, right? So you can see. Sounds nice, sounds tight. What do you say we just do a quick cleanup? Let's take it apart and see what makes this click. Now, there are different types of snap rings and whatever that hold the head in, and this one here is like a twisted snap ring, and I'll show you how that works. You look for the end here. There's a little end here, and again, you got to pick up some of these dental tools if you can. But what you're going to do is you want to slip one of your tools under here, okay, and you're going to lift it up, and it's basically, you see how that came off? And then it just spins off like this, see? Just turn it around until this comes off. And look at that. Quite simple, huh? Okay, now this will push from here out towards the back like that. You see that? So push that out like this. Again, being careful. Taking a look here. And if ever you want to see how ratchets, the ins and outs of how they're built and whatnot, you have to look at Rich's channel, Snap Ring Chronicles. And you can see here, it doesn't look like there's too much here. There's a little pin here that holds it, and the spring will clean this up and put it back together. Seems pretty straightforward. But when you push this down, this little balls, these are called the pulls. They push from one side to the other, and this little pin. You know, and how you take that pin out, you got to knock this and this pin will come out. If you needed to repair this ratchet or something, you would obviously take this. But this ratchet, I don't think has been used at all. I mean, it's just, it was only dry. That was the only problem. It was a little dry. But other than that, you know, I cleaned it out with Q-tip, sprayed it with 50-50, cleaned everything. Then I lubricated it. Now I'm going to put some lubricant around here. I'm going to use a lithium grease around here. I'm going to put it back together, and then I'll tell you, what a beautiful little ratchet. As Funny, last time I used this, a few of you guys said you have one of these in the basement. This is called lith-ease. It's a lithium grease. And I've had this in the basement since I'm a kid. I guess my dad bought it, but you could see it's a white type lithium grease here. And what we do is we just put some on the gears here like this and wipe it around inside the gears here. And that's basically, you don't need a lot of lubrication. In fact, you can have too much that it becomes a magnet for dirt. But what I like to do is wipe it into the gears and then wipe off the excess with this has a little WD-40 on it. So wipe off the excess here. And then when we put it back together, you'll see how nice this works. Okay, we're calling this project done. You see we lubricated everything. The only thing we did, the last thing we did, is we lubricated this ball detent. You've seen me do that a few times where I take it over to the vise, lay it on, drop a bit of oil on there, and press it down with a screwdriver and get oil in that ball detent. But other than that, this is ready to go. And you took off all the rust. Look at the knurling on there, how nice it is. It's a nice ratchet, nice style ratchet. Very easy to engage and disengage the phone in reverse. Now you could hear the difference. Put it on a socket. Listen to the difference. Sounds almost muffled, right? Compared to that clacking that you heard before. Because that's the grease in there absorbing it. But just a nice ratchet now. It's funny, we had a guy, one of the subscribers years ago said he was a mechanic for years. And he said what he did to lubricate his ratchets, because, you know, a lot of us don't have time to take it apart and whatever. You use them until they give you trouble. That's when you address it. But he was a mechanic for years. And what he did, he said he would take all his ratchets once a year and dump them in a bucket of transmission fluid and leave them sit overnight. The next day he would wipe them all off and, you know, it would work. The transmission fluid would work its way into the... And he said he never had an issue in like 30 years of turning wrenches. So imagine that. Just dip it in a bucket of transmission fluid, let it work. Because transmission fluid has cleaning properties and lubrication properties. But I guess it worked for him, right? So this one's in the can. Nice little project here. $1. Okay, next up, another $1 tool. I don't know if I have time for this, but look how nice that handle is. Not just a standard. Look at the nice contour of that handle. That's beautiful, huh? And, you know, it's obviously seen some wear, but look at the tip. The tip is like new, you know? This just, obviously, it just needs a little loving. And let's give it some. I want to make I want to be able to get into this area here, but if I try and use the 1-inch belt, I'm going to wind up putting a groove over here. You've all seen those grooves that we try and get away from the edge of the belt. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the belt off. I'm going to reverse the belt by flipping it inside out. See what I'm doing here? Okay. I'm going to remount it here. And I'm going to shorten the width of the belt. Okay, so I reversed it. Now what I'm going to do is when it's running, I'm going to take an X-Acto and I'm going to cut the belt because I want it to be thinner. Now what that gives us is 2 thin belts. Now, because of the way the belt sander wheel is convex on top, it'll always try and ride to the top of the wheel. So when we mount this belt on here, it will ride somewhat centered. Let's try it. We flipped it back around to the normal way. Let's put it on here now and give it a shot. Okay, now we have a poor man's half-inch belt sander. Now here we sanded down this with wet sanded it to get most of the scratches out. Now, when I tell you to polish, any polish will work. You know, this polish is, all polish is in an abrasive. It's a mixture of an abrasive in a medium that will help spread it around. So this one here is a little bit on the coarse side. This is called Peak. This polish, it was cheap, that's why, you know, you get quite a bit for this. But I'm going to show you here. We're going to with plastic, it's quite easy to polish it down, but this Peak will cut through the deeper scratches a little bit easier. And what you do is you wipe it on, Just keep wiping it and going back and forth until you get out your scratches. Then what happens is you're going to buff it. You're going to buff it with a dry or clean part of the rig here. I'm just taking paper towel here. I'm going to show you. I'm going to buff it out here. And this is where you'll see it starts to get a sheen. And you're going to do that until you get all this out. Once we have the coarse scratches out with the coarse polish, then we'll go to something like plastics to finish it up, and then wax at the end. But right now, I'm going to just take this to the buffer and just give it a shot. We're calling this project done. Nice $1 chisel. You could see here. Now, there are guys that do chisels just are amazing at it, and that's all they do. So I don't want to step on their toes. This is just a cleanup for me. Nothing like it's done the way they do. But you can see we got the handle to come out nice again, you know, where it's acceptable shine. And we got rid of all the rust and put a nice shine on it, right? You know, a nice clean shine. Now on this side here, this is not flat. This is a convex, okay? Or a concave, I'm sorry, concave on this side. So if ever you're doing this, don't try and grind this flat, because only the very tip from here forward is flat. This should be, and I don't know why the geometry of a chisel is like that, but the guys that do woodworking do. But it's nice, it's smooth, it's, you know, fairly sharp. I didn't go crazy. I'm not going to shave with it, but it has a nice polish on the tip there, which, you know, helps it go through the wood. So there we go. Nice little $1 chisel, probably a Miller's Falls, right? So there we go, our 3 $1 projects. Which one was your favorite? Which one do you like the most? In closing, a couple hours spent down the shop, enjoying myself, staying away from the news, which I hope you all are. And again, those dollar tables, they kill you, but aren't they nice tools? They're just waiting to be cleaned up. And you know, there's always something. You can always find a flea market or something that somebody has some great stuff. Anyway, thanks so much for tuning in. Hope you have a great start of your week. Take care now. Bye-bye.